we are likely to associate English with complicated language.
The best language, at first we have to learn the vocabulary.
Best advice I've ever gotten, which is listen a lot.
Good day, man. How's it going? It's TOYA. 皆さんどうもこんにちは、TOYAです。今回は日本在住の外国人はどうやって日本語をマスターしたのかというテーマについていろんな方にインタビューしていこうと思います。おそらくこの動画を見てくれてる方はこれから英語学習を頑張りたいなとか、もうすでに勉強しててもっと話せるようになりたいって思ってる方が大半だと思います。そんな皆さん、今どうやって英語学習してますか？近くの本屋に行ってまずは基礎の中学英語の参考書をやったり、学生時代の単語帳を掘り起こして読んでみたり、とりあえず TOEIC の勉強を始めてみたり、結局どの英語学習法が一番効果的なのかっていうのはなかなかわからないと思うんですよね。でも実は英語って覚えなくてはいけない文字ってたったの26文字しかなくて、ひらがな46文字、カタカナ46文字、漢字無限大から構成される日本語を話せるようになることの方がもうはるかに難しいんです。なので今回はそんな難しい日本語を日本在住の外国人の方はどうやってマスターしたのかっていうのをインタビューさせていただいて、そこで効果的な学習方法だったり第二言語を学ぶ上で大切なことを皆さんの英語学習にも活かしてもらえたらなと思います。多分今回はめちゃめちゃいい内容の動画になってると思います。それでは早速インタビューの方をしていきたいと思います。Let's get going.
Where are you from?
I'm from America, the United States, Utah.
Utah. So how long have you been in Japan?
I've been in Japan for almost 2 years.
2 years. So where are you from?
We are from Bangladesh.
You too?
Bangladesh.
So how long have you been in Japan?
Me, it's 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
So what about you?
4 years.
4 years. I know you are busy, so I'll get straight to the point. So do you speak Japanese?
はい、話します。
Or do you speak Japanese?
A little bit.
A little bit. So what about you?
Sukushi, little bit.
How long did it take for you to be able to speak Japanese?
I've been studying since before I came to Japan.
Oh, really?
I studied kanji and goi for about 1 year before I came, but before I came I didn't know any grammar or anything like that.
Oh, really?
2 years, almost 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
So what is the most difficult part of learning Japanese?
Grammar.
I think Japanese people are mostly, we are likely to associate English with complicated language. Even though Japanese has 3 characters, which are kanji, hiragana, katakana. What is the best way to learn new language for you? What do you think?
Well, my previous teammate who used to work with me, my roommate, the advice he gave me is probably the best advice I've ever gotten, which is listen a lot. Even if you don't understand what's going on, listen to English podcasts, watch English drama and shows and things like that.
What is the best way to learn new language? What do you think?
The best language, at first we have to learn the vocabulary. If I know the vocabulary, I can make a small sentence. And after that, finishing the vocabulary part, if I know the grammar, like past, present, then I have to make the sentences and I can communicate with each other. The first thing is vocabulary.
But the most important thing though when you're watching something is don't use the subtitles.
Don't use.
Yeah,
so you
don't
never,
use subtitles.
never.
If English subtitles for learning English is okay, but not Japanese subtitles if you're learning English, because your brain is gonna think in Japanese instead of English.
Exactly. So how did you practice Japanese? How do you learn? How do you learn Japanese?
One of the things is I listen a lot, listening to and watching Japanese YouTube, Japanese Netflix. And so I use Japanese subtitles on Japanese anime, and sometimes no subtitles. And besides that is just I like to talk to people a lot, because the more that you talk to people, you can kind of get a better grasp of that language, better than you can get from a textbook.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
the textbook, it only teaches you kind of the base and not really what people speak in real life.
100% agree with you. Yeah. Do you think it's ever possible to speak a language like a native? That it is necessary?
It's not necessary, but it's very tough to speak like the native one. Because as a Bangladeshi, I can speak like American or British people and not like Japanese people also. So as a person, I can try my level best to speak like native people.
I think you have been learning Japanese for a long time, and you are really into learning Japanese. I think that's what I think. What is your system to stay consistent in your studies?
I think other people are probably one of the best things, because systems can always fail you. and actually, well, people will always fail you also. But if you have, especially if you're studying with someone, if you're trying to study every day, having someone with you who can say, hey, did you study today? And then the same thing for you. You can ask them, hey, did you study today? And you can also talk with your friend about, well, what did you study today? What was difficult for you? What was easy for you? Because you're different people, you'll have different things that you're good and not so good at, and you can talk to your friend about, well, you can help each other.
So this is my last question. So what kind of advice can you give to new language learners?
My first advice is please focus on the vocabulary and then try to make sentences, simple sentences, and then if you complete the vocabulary part and grammar part, then you can try the conversation with others. It will be good for you.
Exactly. So little by little, just keep it up. Personally, I spent about maybe 5 years to get this level, and that was a long journey.
Yes.
And even now, I have a bunch of vocabularies and phrases that I don't know. So, never ending, right? Unending. What kind of advice can you give to new language learners?
My favorite advice from a different friend, a very good friend of mine, is small steps. 一歩ずつ. That if you're starting at the beginning, it probably seems impossible that you'll be able to speak fluently. But if you just take one step at a time, one day at a time, learn something new every day, and just keep practicing, then you can look back in a year or 2 years. If you've kept at it and you don't give up, then you can see, oh man, I really did do it. But it takes a while to get to that point, and you have to keep at it and don't give up.
はい、ということでね、今回のインタビューを振り返っていきたいんですけど、おそらくこの動画を見ていただいている方は、英語学習をしている、もしくは英語学習に興味があるっていう方がほとんどだと思いますが、英語学習において何が一番難しいって、やっぱりどうやって英語を勉強したらいいのかわからないっていうことが一番だと思います。やっぱり一番は英語をたくさん聞いてたくさん口に出すこと、アウトプットすること、これが最強にして最高の英語学習法なんだと、今回のインタビューを通して改めて感じました。今回のインタビュー内容を皆さんの英語学習にも役立ててもらえれば、この動画を作った意義はすごいあったのかなと思います。僕のインスタグラムと TikTok ではネイティブから学ぶ生きた英語をコント形式で面白く紹介してたり、海外の友達たちと英語クイズなんかもやったりしてるので、これからもっと英語学習していきたいと思ってる方はぜひね、概要欄の方からチェックの方よろしくお願いします。今回も最後まで見ていただきありがとうございました。この動画を見てね、少しでも英語学習のモチベーションが上がったなって思ってもらえた方はぜひいいねボタンとチャンネル登録の方よろしくお願いします。Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.